Welcome. Welcome to the Net of Light online teaching for July. We're glad you're with us. We're all glad to be together. And today we've got Nadia from Belgium and Phyllis from her garden in Berkeley and Peggy from Alabama and Emily from Middletown in the countryside of Northern California, and me here in Petaluma, California. And I know there are many of you from different parts of the world. You're so welcome. We are in the middle of doing this work and learning how to commune more closely, more fully in sync with nature. And that's what we'll be talking about and working with today and sharing with you today and with one another. But before we do that, as always, we're going to start with the net of light in order that whatever good comes from this meeting of all of us together be magnified through the strands of the net of light that is holding not only this earth, but the cosmos in its embrace. And so together we will magnify the one love, the great love that nurtures and supports all life at all times. The grandmothers have told us there is no greater service you can perform than to hold steady with this net of light that is holding, upholding, and filling the earth with light now. So this we gladly do. So make yourself comfortable. Let the chair, the couch, or the floor fully support you and just rest in this place. You are exactly where you are to be now. You're in your right place. You are not a mistake, nor is life a mistake. We are living through times of tremendous upheaval and unsureness. We don't know what's going to happen from moment to moment. There's so much radical change now. The grandmothers told us about this when they first came 25 years ago, and they've been preparing us for this time over many, many years. And so together we have learned how to stay connected in light with one another, how to stay connected with all the forces of life and life-giving energy. We call on that now. We call on the radiant net of light that holds all life in its embrace. This is the pattern of life that's been referred to as the cosmic web, as Indra's net, as the great lattice, as the fabric of being of the universe. It has many names. It is a construct of radiance that underlies all life form. It is within our bodies. It is outside our bodies. It is within the earth herself. It is in the sky. It is in the water. It is in every element. It is in everything here. It is throughout the cosmos. Scientists discovered it about 2014, and since then they have been exploring this that they call the greatest living construct in the universe. We are one with it. We are part of it. And right now we just relax in our place on the net of light, in the net of light. Somewhere where two strands of the glorious net of light come together is a place that will feel just right for you. Let yourself sit there now. Breathe with the net of light as it breathes you. Rest there and be held. The net of light holds you and you hold it. It is a consummate sharing of love, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. It's like breath. You breathe out, you breathe in. You don't have to think about it. It just happens and your life goes on. And so the net of light is the same, this weave of radiant giving and receiving of love is holding you and cradling you now. And let yourself rest now. We work very hard in life in so many ways, in trying to understand, in trying to get it right, in trying to break through all kinds of stuff. And always and at every moment, we are held in light. So give yourself a little vacation now and let yourself be held, knowing that there's nothing you have to do. There's no effort for you to make. This is effortless effort. Let yourself be and breathe and receive. And as we sit here together, our hearts are linked in light. And our hearts are linked with the heart of the divine. And if there's any form of divinity that you love, call that one now. They are here. All forms of the divine are here. All pathways of light lead to the divine. Only. It does not fail. So call whatever form of the divine you love. And because we've worked so long with the grandmothers, we include them in this call to the divine. And with them come every form. And you are being loved now and held in love, receiving more love than perhaps you've ever received before. Because the grandmothers have promised that as you receive in this way, your capacity to receive grows larger and larger. And they say, and so we are able to give more to you. So you can just kind of inwardly say yes to this. Sign me up. I want to receive more. I'm willing to soften more, to open more, and to take in more love. The grandmothers promise us that this is our birthright, that we were born to love, to flow in love and give and receive love, that this is our nature, that we are one with our nature, and that we are one with nature herself, because nature is at one with the divine, constantly giving to all life form in this dance of giving and receiving love. And we are not separate from this. You're taking in the air now. And this air is revitalizing you. You're sitting on something. Something is holding the weight of your body. The earth herself is holding that weight of your body. The air flows in to your lungs and throughout your body. And with the air, the movement of the air is the movement of your blood and of your lymph system and all the liquid systems of the body. The waters of life are flowing within your body now, effortlessly. You don't have to think about it. It is happening at every second. The miracle of the movement of life within you, the air and with the water and the earth of your body holding you at the same time. And the warmth within your body, the fire of your being that digests your food and it helps you express emotion that comes out in your voice when you speak and you sing, the fire of your being. And all of this embodied with and encompassed in the ether, that which holds everything. So you are this at one-ment of nature, at one with nature at all times. Just relax into that now and let the divine hold you, the grandmothers hold you, Mother Earth hold you, and all of nature hold, love, and support you. And you may begin to feel a rush of love and gratitude for nature, who's constantly giving to you, selflessly giving you to you. So within the food you eat, the water you drink, it's in the music you hear, the warmth or the coolness that comes to you. You are divinely at one with nature. You are nature, not separate in any way. So let yourself now receive this wonderful holding, this bath of oneness. And as you do, notice how your body feels. Notice how you're breathing. Is it difficult? Is it easy? Do you feel hard? Do you feel soft? Do you feel cool? Do you feel warm? Do you feel tight? Do you feel loose? Just notice with no judgment and not trying to change anything, just noticing at this particular moment in time. Do you feel any oneness with nature? Do you feel her? And notice how she feels about you. Notice how she's embracing you. So glad you're paying attention to her. So glad you are aware of these gifts that ceaselessly come to you. We are all moving into oneness now. For most of our lives, we have spent our time dealing with and combating pain, mental pain, physical pain, emotional pain. And that's gone on for time out of mind. But now we're turning the corner into oneness. Your capacity to receive has increased. Those of you who work in a thoughtful way with the light are increasing your capacity all the time. The net of light helps you increase your capacity. So those of us who work with the net of light are greatly increasing that capacity to receive, just as we're greatly increasing the capacity to give. All of this work and more enables us now to begin to experience the coming home, the expansion, the opening, the fulfilling coming home. This is time for homecoming. Feel your body now. This work we're doing right now will go on throughout this teaching. It will continue. It will be cumulative. This work is always cumulative. But we'll stop now and then. I'll get feedback from the panel. Then we'll go on. So each of you now, feel your body, the position of your body, the temperature. the sense of movement, blockage, or softness or hardness, whatever you feel, take inventory right now. That will be helpful because then you'll know where you are right now. And then we'll move on from there to see where we go, where we're taken, which is always to a greater, more expansive, more loving, and more loved place. So what I like to do now is ask you four to give some feedback on what you're experiencing right now.
During the time that you were speaking about, it was about nature. I don't remember what your words were, but a plant came and sort of breathed herself into me, a particular plant from my garden. And there was just this, it was just a soft resonance, I guess. I feel so grateful, actually, for this relationship. In nature, of course, but in my particular garden, I'm really focusing on it there and experiencing. It's just my daily life. You know, in my daily life, it's just me and it's the intimacy and the pleasure and the elemental weavings I'm feeling every day. That's how I start. Whether I'm inside or outside, I start by weaving the elements, calling the directions, weaving the elements and inviting them to be in harmony, in me, out there, in me. And then it's, it's the weaving there back and forth too. It's just my greatest pleasure at the moment.
Thank you, Phyllis. What a great idea. That weaving, the thought of opening to the weaving of oneness with nature. Thank you. Wow. Who wants to share next? Peg?
Yeah. Well, my experience is very similar to yours, Phyllis. There's a sense of immediacy of being out in nature. I've grown up loving to be outside and loving nature. But the idea of accepting without any kind of scrutiny that, well, of course I love nature. This is the ground of my being, literally. So now the form that it's taken for me is that in my daily walk with our two dogs, there's this immediacy of the elements. I'm aware of walking on the earth. I'm drinking water from my water bottle on the hike. I'm feeling the fire of the sun and the fire in my body, metabolizing the food that nature gave me for breakfast. I'm breathing the air with the scent of the flowers. So this morning, it went another step even. I was feeling all the things I just described, and there was an expansion, and it moved to, I am the earth I'm walking upon. I am the water I'm drinking. I am the fire of the sun and the furnace inside my body. I am the air I'm breathing and the fragrance of the flowers. And things just lit up in a new way to feel that presence of it, the I amness of it. So that was it was a beautiful experience, and I'm hoping that will herald a whole new appreciation on my walks in the morning and throughout my day.
I bet the farm that it will. Yeah. Good. Anybody else want to share anything? Yeah, Emily?
Through the meditation, I find myself feeling such a deep sense of peace and a slowness and a spaciousness that I have a sense of me flowing and that I don't know where I start or end, that my flowing is, it just goes and goes and goes. And I'm reminded of a time I was on a hike and I was, really trying to get there, really trying to boogie my way. And on the way back, I sort of thought, oh, wow, what would happen if I wasn't trying to get anywhere? And it was like the whole world opened up around me. As my steps, it was like a sandy kind of path. And I started to hear the sound of the sand, and I felt the crunch under my boot and noticed the bush that I was walking past and felt this communing is the word that comes to mind. And the communing, it's like, oh, wow, even, it's silence, it's the sounds. Are there sounds? It might be me talking to the bush or hearing the bush talk to me. Might be me singing. It might be absolute silence in a moment of stillness, but this communing, it's happening all the time, every moment, between every cell in my body, with every other cell, with the cell that's the air that's right next to the follicle of my hair. There's communing happening. There's, I don't know really how to describe it, information going back and forth, feeling going back and forth on all these different levels. And as I slow, I partake more in that which is always happening.
It makes me think of when the grandmothers say, go slow, go deep, you will find us there. Mm. Wow. Thank you, Em. Thank you. I'm going to talk after Nadia gets a chance to speak. I'm going to talk a little bit about why. I'm going to remind us, why are we now turning so much attention to nature? There's the primary excellent reason why we are. So Nadia, you're first.
I just wanted to share how I felt during the meditation. And at some point, the slowing down, it was really slowing down. And feeling blanketed, cushioned by the air or whatever it was around me, very soft, feeling held. And then at some point, there was no like, oh, where does my arm end and where does the rest start? It felt really, just really nice. That's all I can do. I don't have many more words. And towards the end, my hands were being filled or held by something. And it's just nice to know that even indoors, you're so deeply, deeply connected if you're still enough.
Yes, yes, yes. Even indoors, the air moves through you. The water is moving inside your body. The earth is supporting you. And the warmth of the sun and the warmth of the stove and the warmth of the furnace are keeping you warm or cool. We are turning to nature now because it's home base for human beings. It is where we can go now for succor. It's where we can go now to help heal our planet. If we look outward from ourselves and any facet of the world, any place, all hell is breaking loose, truly. Every day, it's a new horror, a new bombardment, and it's been going on for a while and shows no signs of stopping. That can drive us crazy if we allow that to happen. And also, there's no way by fighting that we can get anywhere. However, nature is ultimate intelligence. Life is nature. Nature is life. We, human beings, are nature. So if we turn, instead of out there into the latest drama of the day, if we turn within ourselves and we open our hearts to the great natural world, then something new can happen because nature is intelligent. Nature is intelligence, and we are part of that. So our need to commune with nature is great now. We are being called to that in order to save ourselves, save our own sanity, and in order to save our planet. So the last time we met, we talked about some simple steps that we can take to do that. And I'm going to go over those again. And I want to share with you, this is a time of great healing and awakening all over the earth. In spite of all this hellish stuff we see, there is this awakening of our oneness. There is an ending to the sense of separation from one another, separation from nature, separation from God. There is an end to that. And there is a beginning of this enfoldment. And you can feel that now. If you take the time to go outside and go into nature, or even sitting inside, thinking of your love of the trees, your love of the ocean or the rivers or the mountains or the sand or your garden, whatever it is, you can have that feeling of at-homeness within her. She is waiting for that. She's been waiting a long time, but we now are ready for that. So what we shared with you last time were some simple steps to take within this work with the grandmothers and the net of light. Over the years, we've been led from one step to the next until we are now at this place, ready to do this work. And in our work, we always work for ourselves. And we always, because we work with the net of light, work for all beings. So whatever good we're doing for ourselves, as we meditate, as we pray, as we cast the net of light, we are doing for all life. Ergo, these changes are occurring on earth. I want to say a deep and endless thank you to each of you who have internalized this work with the net of light, who cast the net of light for the family of life everywhere, who think of being a walking blessing upon the earth and live that way. I want to say a deep thank you to those of you who pay attention to the urges within yourself, who listen to the teachings of the grandmothers and other great teachers, who align yourself with the highest good for all, who seek the highest good for all, and that always includes you. I really am utterly grateful to you. You are a big part of why we are making this turn now. Grandmothers say you have no idea the importance of the work you do. You have no idea of the import of what you think of as these seemingly small activities. Your mind thinks, oh, I'm only one person. What can I do? I'm going to sit here and pray for the people in Ukraine and Russia. But, I'm just one person. What does that do? They say it does more good than you will ever know. Never hold back. When you have an urge to reach out and give to someone, never hold back. Do it. Take that step. That is why we can achieve this kind of communion now with nature, which we probably could not have done a few years ago. I listened to Phyllis talking about how this plant came in and spoke to her and spoke through her. I've had that experience myself, and I would have never thought it possible. I talk about in the grandmother's fourth book, The Return of the Mother, The Return to Love. I talk about this instance of going to this spring in Latvia with these young Latvian people who took us there. It was just a little sandy spring in the woods, and one little tiny little hole where the water came up and it went bloop, bloop, bloop. That was it. And people lined up there to get their bottles filled. So we went in there, and there were about, 12 of us. And so we started singing to the water. And we were just singing, water, we love you. Water, we thank you. I don't remember the rest. And we were just singing, and we sang it over and over again. And this little spring, instead of doing its little bloop, went bloop, 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 bloop. There were 4 little bubbles in the spring because we sang. And as long as we sang, it kept bubbling like that. I had never seen or heard of anything like that. Nature responding to our love that way. But I've seen it since, over and over again. And I invite you to look. You too will see it. Notice the birds that happen to come by. And when they come by, notice when a breeze picks up, when the wind picks up. Notice when the clouds come over, or when the sun, shines itself. Notice the sounds. Notice. It's very rich, and it's going to get richer as we flow into more oneness with it. And the truth of it is, the more we are open to and interested in communing with the natural world, the more it can speak to us. Because our interest puts out an invitation. Hey, I'm interested. I want to learn. I want to know. And what teacher can resist that? Nature comes in and gives to you then. So play with this. Have fun and play with it. Okay, and now back to the practicalities. So you might want to even take notes of this if you haven't already. Basically, you call on the net of light. You can do this by yourself. You can do it in a group. In a group, there's always more power because it is just part of that. where two or more come together, the presence of the divine is there. But you can also do it by yourself, and you can think of us with you, and we will be there. So you call on the net of light and any form of the divine you love. You think of the ancestors of the light. We've done this for many years now. And the beauty of that is, by thinking of the ancestors, this work then goes into what we think of as the past. And the light penetrates into the past and embraces with all the forgiveness and healing, whatever needs embracing there. So you call on the ancestors of the light. You call on the spirits of nature, the spirits of water and wind and air and sun, all of them. And some of you know names for them. If you know their names, call their names, but it doesn't matter. They won't hold that against you. Just call them. And call on the elements, earth, air, fire, water, ether, so that every aspect of the natural world is embraced and honored. Call on the ascended beings that you love, the different forms of the divine, those who have lived lives on earth and now live in other realms, but still love and work with us here on earth. Call on that inner teacher, divine spirit, higher self, whatever you call it, higher consciousness within your own self. That's simple. When you do that, you include everything and everybody. And then you open to nature. So you may wish to open to, there may be a place near you. There might be a wooded area, or there might be a vacant lot that's gone to hell. It's all a mess. Or there might be a system of water that you're concerned about. Or it could be a place of great beauty. It could be a place of great need, someplace within nature that calls your heart. And then you think of that. And if you can go there, go there. And you sit with the thought of it. You sit with the place of it. And you just amplify the light of the net of light, that great one love to hold and enfold, to bless and love this place. Start with that. Start there. And again, you can do this alone. You can do this as a project with a group. There are a group in where I used to live down near Laguna Beach that work with an ancient tree there. They go to the tree regularly and they sit with her and work through her root system. They think of the net of light being amplified with all trees in that whole arena of Southern California. Phyllis and Emily and I went up the other day up onto the coast just south of San Francisco, and we worked there at a labyrinth above the sea, and by working there, the light and the energy went far, far out into the waters of the Pacific there. You can do this anywhere, everywhere. The entire earth is sacred. And it longs for us in communion with us as much as we long for it. So I'm going to ask the panel now to share, just to dive in with any of these suggestions or thoughts that come to you now. And I will shut up. Babe?
Well, I think at some point during this teaching, one or the other of us have brought up a lot of these concepts that I want to just touch on briefly. And what I'm struck with is that nature wants to communicate with us as much as we want to communicate with nature. And I think you spoke to this, about the communion with nature that you've been feeling more intensely. And so it's not a unilateral outreach, just, oh, well, please, 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 I want to connect. Nature wants to come home to us. It's been missing us. So I've also been adopting a really playful attitude as I do this. So yesterday I was playing with a bird who had flown onto our garage roof. The bird is called a killdeer. I don't know how widely spread. I don't know the range of these birds, but we have many killdeer in this area. They nest on the ground, which is a whole other phenomenon. I'd never known birds did that, but these birds do. And so the bird was twittering and chirping and trilling, and I decided I was just going to kind of do a monkey see, monkey do. So the bird would chirp and I would chirp the best I could chirp. And then the bird looked around, kind of surprised, and decided, well, it'd chirp twice. So chirp, chirp. So I chirped twice. Well, then it went into a trill, and so I did a trill. I at least had such a wonderful time. I don't know how the bird felt about it, but it was so fun. It was an attitude of playfulness and spontaneity that I just enjoyed the heck out of it. So I think that's a good piece to call on.
I love it. I love it.
Playing is good. Yeah. And for me, that usually takes the form of just being out and singing while I walk, and you just feel the response of whatever is everything that is around you, not whatever, but everything that is around you.
Does anybody else have anything you want to share? Yeah, Phyllis.
There's such a feeling now. Well, it's such a gratitude and delight I feel about the net of light. And I feel in this relationship with nature, which is much more, I'd say, intentional and conscious. And it's not such, I feel like it's so important for each person, for this individual, for us as individuals to come to each other through nature. I just feel that this weaving is super vital right now. And we come into the net of light, the beauty, the intimacy, the delight, the joy, the honoring comes into the net of light.
Yes.
Not much to say.
Yes. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. While you were talking, Phyllis, a short thought was, it's not about, and I know it's not meant that way, but it's not like, oh, let's go heal this.
No.
Let's go heal that.
No.
Let's go to nature because we need to.
Yeah.
It's by doing what you were explaining to us, Sharon, that we are opening up enough for nature to be able to interact with us, and for us to be humble enough to allow that to take place, and that will restore everything between humans, but with everything that lives. Yeah. Humbly.
It's new.
Yeah.
Yes. So, are we done?
Probably never.
No, never done. Never done.
Maybe today.
I was just thinking of a song. Now, this is not a sacred song, but it's fun. Earth in my body, water in my veins, air in my breathing, fire in my heart. Earth in my body, water in my veins, air in my breathing, fire in my heart. Fire in my heart. Fire in my heart. I salute the fire in your heart.
Humbly we sit here, humbly we sing here, humbly we bless the ground. Humbly we sit here, humbly we sing here, humbly we bless the ground. Humbly and with gratitude, remembering the ancient ones who walked this ground. Humbly and with gratitude, remembering the ancient ones who walked this ground. This is a little tweak to the original words, but
I love
just,
it.
yep.
Love it.
Okay.
Are we off?
Not yet. I just wanted to
I didn't
ask.
know if we were going to just keep going singing or whatever. Okay. I love
Okay.
that song, Nadia. I love that song.
Until
Humbly-
until
humbly-
next time. Yeah, humbly we walk here. It's on the website. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody. We'll see you again the first weekend in August, and I'll have somebody, one of the other grandmothers, will run it because Peggy and I will be at a wedding. So
Okay.
that was the first